Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin, and holy shit, we made it! We made it! This, ladies and gentlemen, is our 400th episode. Wow. I gotta give one of the classic, I think the kids, we deserve the kids this time around. I think.
Out of context, I don't like that. But you know what?
Right.
You know.
Here it is.
In context, awesome.
You know, after 400 episodes, you'd think we'd learn quotes out of context.
Yeah.
Not so much. Not so much for these guys over here.
Not so much for these guys.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir. Not to blow ourselves too hard, but congratulations on 400 episodes.
Oh wow, man. I mean, if you keep doing that, man,
I'm gonna come.
you know.
We 8 years later, and we have not grown up one eye.
No, why would we grow up?
No.
What's the point in that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, congratulations to you, Justin.
Thank you, sir.
Jill just asked me today, she goes, do you have like a start date of when this all went down? And I was like, August of 2015. And she's like, God damn.
Close enough. Yeah.
I was like, right? Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Natalie goes, I came downstairs wearing this fine attire, and she's like, you look like you're getting married. I go, oh no, it's something for a much dumber reason. It's because I'm recording episode 400 of my podcast. And Jill goes, yeah, his podcast is older than you, kid.
Oh my God, that's so fucking weird
Yeah,
to think of.
by 3 years.
And will always be. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
for those listening and not watching, what are you doing? Hop on youtube.com/mindgappodcast and you can watch us. But for those who are choosing to listen, Doug and I had decided to dress up for the evening. I'm wearing a nice crushed velvet jacket with a pocket square. It's my fanciest jacket I own. And Doug is rocking a beautiful, is it a blue blazer?
it's navy blue.
The navy blue blazer.
With a lavender shirt and a silver tie with black stripes on it.
You got to move the mic away just a little bit so I can see the tie. Just for a second. Baby. Oh, that's a good tie. That's a good tie.
That's a good tie, brah. That's a good tie right there.
I'm liking that tie. We've got a bunch of stuff this episode that we're going to be having fun with. We teased it last week, but this week we've got 4 special guests with a 5th extra special guest right at the end.
Yes.
So the way Doug and I are doing this tonight is I've asked 2 people from our past to be here, and Doug has asked 2 people from our past to be here. And Doug doesn't know who I asked. I don't know who Doug asked. And so we are going to surprise each other. These guests are going to pop in at predetermined moments in the podcast. And when mine pop in, Doug will know who they are and be surprised. And we'll have a couple minutes of fun chat. And then we'll say adieu to them. And Doug's will pop in. And I'll be floored that he pulled this person back in. And then at the very end, after we do 2 rounds of that, we're going to have an extra special guest pop in. And they're going to help us with an extra special throwdown tonight. But to start us off, I thought it'd be fun to take a real quick walk down memory lane. And I wanted to, since we're in the intro of this 400th show, let's rewind 400 episodes and just take a listen to how we started episode number 1.
I don't know how I feel about this, but okay.
Ready?
All right.
All right, here we go.
We gonna get you.
You want an intro?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. We are Mind Gap.
Mind Gap.
Podcast. I'm Doug.
And I'm Justin.
And we are doing this podcast. And it is amazing. And we are so happy to have you here.
Yes, thank you for stopping by. And then we launch right into why we're doing this podcast. We explain the whole assignment desk thing and this and that. So
what energy right? We had there.
That's what I thought too. You want an intro? Sure.
Hey,
welcome
to this podcast. Yeah.
Podcast.
Wow, we've come a long way. We've come a long way. In some ways, not really. But in other ways, yes. You know?
Yes.
I'd say production-wise, I'd say podcast episode length, we've come a long ways, you know?
I think the first one was like 45 minutes or so.
Which honestly, even for a first episode, pretty solid. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And we had a good time. I listened back to it today, and there was a lot of fun. We mainly talked about Daredevil.
Right. Who would have thought, man? That was like, because I think that was just coming out, right?
I think the Punisher had showed up.
So season 2 then. So that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, wow. We were talking about where they're going to stay true to the Punisher character and what have you.
Yeah. Wow. That was, it's been a minute.
2015, man.
Been a minute, man.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I was just thinking today as I was cooking, I've just, at one point turning to Natalie, like, do you want to know what I was like in my 30s? Well, here's 400 episodes.
Yeah, right? Like, what kid has that kind of video diary of their parent? Like most of your 30s is on record.
Right.
Is recorded.
You got from age 32 to 40 and ongoing currently. Like you've got a nice slice of my life that you can be like, what was my dad like? Well, absolutely. Here you go. For better or worse. There you go. This
was him. Yep. All the inappropriate jokes, all the thoughtful insights, all the nerd talk. Everything in between.
I would have loved to have something like that from my parents to get a better understanding of who they were.
Yeah.
Just to be like, get a glimpse. And I kind of love the idea of time capsule stuff. Yeah. I know it's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of nice to.
I'm surprised that you're into that.
You know what? Me too. I'm almost embarrassed to say that. At one point, like probably 10 years ago, or right before I turned 30, I was like, I should write myself a letter to like, at that time, like, this is who I am. And, so that I can read or write myself a letter to when I'm 30, when I'm 40. So I can be like, hey, and I can look back and be like, Jesus Christ. Like,
I should do that when I turn 40 in Akumal, sitting there in Mexico. Figure that might be fun. Here I sit, dear diary.
Because Jill's niece, she just graduated high school and she did that. In 8th grade, she wrote herself a letter. So when she graduated and she just opened it and I was like, whoa, I was like, you know what? I thought about doing that, but then I got lazy. I was like, I don't want to do this. So
I did the same thing for school assignment, and my mom, it was a year or two ago, I think my mom gave it to me and I cracked it open and I read it. I was like, this is nuts, man.
Is it cringeworthy?
I remember some of the feelings and thoughts and where I thought my life would be. And there are some things in there that I'm like, whoa, you take a big left turn. Yeah. Big, hard left.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's kind of fun to reflect back on that because you forget who you are. Mm-hmm. You can only, a lot of times you're thinking about who you are in the moment and you kind of don't realize how much you've changed. And I think it's important to do that. So I think it's kind of cool. And I used to listen to every single one of our episodes, every single one. I would go back and listen because I wanted to like just hear how it sounded, how it was going. I wanted to know how to get better every time. I don't do that as much anymore. I edit everything, but I'm like, I lived it. I'm good. I cut up the clips and everything like that. I'm like, I'm good. I know. I do the write-ups, so I'm like going through it. I'm like, I know what's in this episode. I don't have to listen to it bit by bit,
It was easier too because we started out at like 30, 40 minutes, and then within like probably the first 10 to 20 episodes, we started to bump it out to like an hour, then an hour 10. And we kind of found our sweet spot. Our episodes generally run between like an hour 15 and an hour 40. That's usually about an hour and a half is where we land. But it's harder to do when you've got an hour and a half show to listen to every week, listen to that show.
Yeah. And it was good though, because I'm one of those people that's weird. Like I don't mind seeing myself on tape. I don't mind listening to myself. I know some people are like, dude, get the fuck out of here. The psychopaths do that. For me, it's always, and I think I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, it's about getting better. Like I need to listen to it to be like, how well did I do? Can I be better? How can I be better? Like what, just that sort of stuff I think is really important to get better. So for some people, it's a real struggle. There's some actors that can't watch themselves on screen, totally get it. So, but we're not those guys. We are, well, I mean, we are those guys kind of, but we're 400 episodes in. And, we
know what we're about is the thing. We know what we're about.
Yeah. Real quick, when people ask you, Justin, you got a podcast, what's it about? What do you tell people?
My elevator pitch is usually it used to be, it's about pop and nerd culture, but I feel like that's morphed now. I feel like it is about, I feel like Mind Gap is more truly a Mind Gap now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
Like, we cover topical things. We cover Every once in a while, we'll dip our toe political. We don't usually do that, but we'll cover nerd stuff, non-nerd stuff. It really does span the gamut. So I guess I tell them, typically I say it's pop nerd culture, but then I say it's a conversation really about anything.
Yeah.
It's just what's on your mind, what's in the news.
I always warn people, I go, first they go, oh, you have a podcast. What's it about? I go, it's really dumb. You need to know that it's very dumb. It's a very dumb podcast. We have a soundboard. There's farts on it. You need to know what you're getting into if you want to listen to this. Like, you just, I'm full disclosure. It's dumb. And I'm proud of it being dumb. That's not a knock on me or you. It's like, it is what we want it to be. All right.
Yeah.
There's farts. So get over it. If you're cool with that, check it out.
My realtor, he was early on, we were talking and he's like, oh, you do a podcast? And I go, yeah. I said, he goes, I've never listened to a podcast. I go, well, you don't need to start with mine.
Why not?
And he goes, well, why? What's it about? I go, it's a lot of fart jokes. He goes, have we met? And I was like, well, you might be okay with it.
That's the one thing that makes me happy. Uh-oh. Who's this? Who is this? God, this is terrifying.
Looking all fly.
First of all, is that an this is one of my guess in 10 questions. Is that an Elon Musk mask? No.
All right, Doug, that's number 1.
All right, nice.
All right, you got 9 more.
All right. Are you a male?
No.
Ah! You can just shake your head yes or no. You don't have to speak if you don't want to. Oh shit. I think I know who this is.
Do you?
Is this Charity?
Who?
Is this Charity? No? Damn. All right, that's my first guess.
Count as a guess.
Of course it should. It should absolutely count as a guess. I was like, holy shit. Okay. Oh my God. Are you based in Chicago or the Chicago area? Nope. Okay. Nope. Wow, this is worse than the Marvel stuff. I'm turning hard. Yeah. I'm sweating right now. Okay. Not based in Did we perform together on in improv?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh, that narrows it down, Doug.
I thought that would help. I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps.
I do respect the fact that our guest is wearing a jacket to match us too.
Right? Yeah.
It's all flying. I think there's a fedora on as well.
Oh shit.
Oh my.
Oh shit. Fuck. This
all right,
is.
Doug, you got 5 to go.
I know. I gotta go quickly too.
Or you can just say,
let's go.
Or you can just say, give up. That's it. You can concede.
I could get. Then the pressure is on. All right. You know what? I'm gonna concede.
What if I give you a hint?
I'll give me a hint.
For the guest intent, this person is very connected to Marvel.
Wait. No, is it? No. Wait, has this person interviewed some of the coolest people in the world?
Maybe.
Is this Jamie Jirak? Oh my God! Holy shit! Oh my God! Welcome back!
That was fun.
Holy
as we were going in, I did like there's too much background that gives me away, so I was like dumping all my DVDs on the ground because I got like Buffy and Full House, and I was.
This is how dumb I am. I was just sitting there, just being like, I wasn't looking at anything in the background. I was completely just like, I had no idea. Holy shit! Thank you for being here.
Congratulations! This is so exciting.
Oh my gosh, that was exciting as seeing you as you again and all the cool shit you've been doing. Oh my God, your interviews are the fucking best.
Right?
They're so good.
I've been having a good time. I've been getting lucky.
Oh man!
So real quick, if you have never heard Jamie on our podcast before, she first appeared episode 43 in 2016. We talked about paradoxes and dilemmas. In episode 261 in 2020, DC fandom, Powerpuff Girls live action movie, and being buried alive. Also, we talked about you moderating Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel.
Oh, that was one of the best times of my life.
287 in 2021, WandaVision and the MCU futures. So this is our resident nerd MCU. Let's weigh in on this person.
Yes.
Wow.
And I have this weird thing where like you're an amazing human, Jamie, and I just see you just going and doing awesome stuff. And I get to the point where I'm like, I don't think I can talk to Jamie anymore because I don't feel worthy enough to be like, hi. Like, I'll just occasionally drop a comment. I'm like, I think you're doing cool stuff, and just like fade into the background because I'm like, You're cool. You're so cool.
Obviously, that's not true, or else I wouldn't have been excited to be here today and celebrate you. I want you to talk to me all the time.
You're so kind.
I just meet them occasionally.
Oh, it's just like, I mean,
You're a celebrity in our eyes.
You are 100%. I still remember sitting in, Second City Conservatory, hanging out with you, and you and I just shooting the shit about nerd stuff, and to see you get to basically live the dream of being there, like, God, all the cool people you've gotten to talk to, but you're always like, hey, check out this tattoo I've gotten, and people are like, oh my God, and they lose their minds. Like, I react so hard whenever I see that stuff. I'm like, Jamie's the coolest. You were like so authentically fun. Like in love what you love, and you share that with the world, and people react in such a positive way. It's so cool.
That's sweet to hear. Thank you. And I would like to say, your guys, I think, was like maybe one of the first podcasts I've ever done in my life. And now, like, I have my own podcast with Phase Zero, and it's like, and it's so fun to look back. You guys have done so much, and also, like, remember, it was crazy the first time I did your podcast. I like went to your home. We used to do that. We used to do it all together, and it's wild, like how far just podcasting has come.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, just I realized, like, looking back, we're like, I wonder how uncomfortable we made a lot of people to basically like, hey, come to this guy's apartment and we're gonna record like
at night.
At night.
But it was normal then.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But then it was like, yeah, Doug, I'll come, let's hang out.
I hope so, but because then later on, I was just like, I don't know if that made people comfortable. And Justin was like, I don't really feel comfortable doing this in my home anymore. Can we find a neutral place to do this? Or like, we'll do it in the basement of a bar. That's where we'll do it. Like, way cooler.
That's better. So, Jamie, what has been the coolest interview you've done recently? Like, if people want to follow you and see all this stuff, all the clips that you post,
which they should,
where can they follow you?
Well, everything I do is on comicbook.com, but I usually post my best interviews on my Instagram, which is just at Jamie Jirak. But I also like to plug my Letterboxd, which is Jamie Cinematics, because I'm obsessed with Letterboxd. It's my favorite social media. Most recently, easy, hands down, I interviewed Electric Mayhem, the band from the Muppets.
Yes. Oh my God.
I know. Getting to talk to some Muppets was pretty spectacular.
Oof, that's incredible.
Is Animal as cool in person?
Well, this was virtual. So
right. Well, I'm sorry, in person like this. Yeah.
Yes. But my favorite Muppet is Zoot.
That's right. You said that in the interview. That's right.
Yeah, I think he's really cute. I have a crush on him, but he didn't say much. So that like he's just a man of mystery and silence. But Animal was cool. He's apparently he's allergic to Miss Piggy. I don't know how true that is.
Interesting.
Got some hot goss.
Oh yeah.
You got the hot tea.
But I'll tell you guys on next Monday, I got my biggest ever maybe. Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones.
No shit.
Are you serious?
No shit.
I know.
I've got goosebumps right now. That's amazing.
Oh my God, Jamie. I hope you're prepared. He's like, the Popovich of like actors, where he's just like, what is it? What do you want?
It could go terribly wrong, but I'm seeing the movie tomorrow, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely nervous for this one. I don't get nervous a lot, but this one I'm a little nervous about.
He's iconic.
A question you're dying to ask him, like your big one?
No, there's nothing yet. I know that no matter what, I have to ask him a Captain America question because I'm coming for comic book. Like, so no matter what. But I mean, they're like, usually we only get, and it's in person, it'll be no more than 5 minutes, and he's paired with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. So that's pretty much 2 questions a person.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's you got to get in there tight. The last one, I'll make a Captain America question. But no, I have not made any decisions yet.
Gotcha. Cool. But you're doing it in person, though.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
Honestly, I'm excited, but also like I'm glad you're doing it and not me because I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know if I could handle that. I'd be like, "Hi."
I might do it and then say, "Well, I quit. I failed at the big whale. And now it's over."
Wow. Well, I gotta say, Jamie, this was such a treat to have you back. Thank you so much for taking the time to come back and visit us. And we will absolutely reach out to you again in the future because I want to pick your brain about so many things. Yes. And we just don't have enough time. But it's so great to see you again. Thank you for coming by.
Need to hear about the Harrison Ford interview. So we'll probably be reaching out to you sooner than later.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Congratulations, and thank you for thinking of me. It was really sweet.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, man. I'm tickled to death right now. I did not see that one coming. I did not see that coming.
I gotcha.
Woo.
First one, nailed it.
Nailed it. Boy, and she leaned into that heavy. That's classic Jamie right there, man.
When she said to me, so we were emailing back and forth, and she's like, because I told her, I said, you know, it's a surprise, so don't say anything to Doug. when you log on, obviously he'll know it's you, but you know, we'll still have fun with it. And she goes, "You want me to wear a mask?" I'm like, "I absolutely want you to wear a mask. That's incredible." And then when we were talking, I went back to her. I'm like, "Hey, we play this game called Guess in 10." And she's like, "That sounds fantastic. Let's do it." The thing is, she's the coolest because she's always just yes-anding. She's like, "Yeah, let's play. Let's do whatever." Like, so fun. So fun.
Oh man, I was shitting my pants. I was like, I have no idea. Like, it was also because there was so much on the clock too. I was like, I can't sit here forever. That's an energy suck. It's a time suck. I was like, I whiffed immediately. I was like, shit. You know, I thought it was charity. I was like, that's not charity. Shit.
Well, I was wondering where she was going to come in from because we're so used to her normal setup, which I don't know if it's like in her closet, but she's got this corner with a whole bunch of nerd stuff on the walls and everything. And I was like, well, if she comes in that background, then Doug will know immediately.
Well, it's like they turn and I was like, oh, at first I thought it was Bob. And I was like, oh, well, this is obviously Bob. But because the hat, she covered up her hair so intelligently. I was like, God damn it. She put me through the ringer. And I mean that too. Like, there's some people that I want to reach out to, but I don't know what it is, man. I got to beat that out of me. Like, I gotta basically be, Jesse Kendall has shown up a lot in my feed recently. Yes. And I really want to reach out to him because we had him on a long time ago. Like, he and I, like, we got along just fine, but like, I haven't talked to him forever, but I'm just like, he's doing some really cool shit. I see a lot of his videos and stuff. I'm like, fuck, I want to.
Well, Doug, we've got a second surprise guest, so
I
never
know.
say never.
Never say never. He was a former guest too, so you know.
He was, absolutely. I culled the depth of our community.
Yeah.
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 I'm so glad that hit. So glad that was good.
Oh, that was such a delight. Because again, for some reason, because I see everything that Jamie's doing, I'm like, we can't reach out to her.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be here, you know.
She's interviewing Harrison fucking Ford.
Right? Are you kidding me?
Right. I couldn't do it, man. There's no way. No way.
I just constantly on this. I don't get on Instagram that much except just to do Mind Gap stuff, and then her stuff will just pop up, and I'm like, Jesus, she's interviewing the entire cast of Little Mermaid, like fucking Fast and Furious. She's talking with people. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Like,
I think one thing I want to ask her when we have her back on is just how do you keep your composure when you're talking to, because you can remind yourself that they're people, but at the end of the day, these are a lot of these people that you've watched for a while, and it does get in your head. Like, it's hard to not, sit there.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And again, it's one of those things where like I feel I don't know, man. Listen, I say our podcast is dumb, and I mean that, and it's exactly what I want it to be. And then I also look at people that are, in my mind, very successful. I'm like, you don't want to be here, and that's just my own, me. I've always been like, we don't have real listeners. They're all bots, for whatever reason. I just don't. I take any success we get with like a giant heaping pile of skepticism.
Yeah. And you're not wrong for that. You're not wrong for doing that.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that she called out that we used to do this in my apartment back in Chicago, and it just the iterations that we've gone through. We've done this in many places, from the merchandise mart to two or three different basement bars to, I think we did one. Didn't we do one at the hotel next door? Oh, we've got our second surprise. Jill, welcome to the podcast.
If any of you don't know who this is my wife, Jill, who's back. Welcome back, Jill.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, but I'm disappointed, I have to say, because I was really excited to come and celebrate a very momentous occasion. But in true fashion, when I'm invited here, it's always for a serious topic. So I apologize, but we're going to have to take a little segue and discuss some things been brought to my attention. I think you all know that I am an HR professional, and some of the things that go with my job are investigating allegations of various nature. So, Justin, we're going to have to talk about some things that have been raised about you specifically.
Uh-oh.
And Doug is here as a witness to the conversation.
Okay. Sure.
So I'm just going to read these out to you. Like, just get them out there, and then we can talk about in detail, your side of the story, and then we'll see where we go from there.
I don't remember any of these, but okay.
So, first one that was brought to my attention was that, and I need to read these off because they're just so bizarre in nature. I want to make sure I get this right. You allegedly farted into your microphone, recorded it, and uploaded it onto a soundboard, and have played it multiple times on the podcast.
Doesn't sound like something I did necessarily, but okay.
Hold your comments till the end, please.
Okay.
You claimed on the podcast that you would lick the pole on the Red Line train in Chicago after Lollapalooza to get high. These are very serious claims that you've made, and we really do need to discuss how we handle this.
I would lick the pole.
I mean, during an Among Us stream, you said, quote, "Give me those butts," unquote, and "Ooh, it's a chef. Let me eat ya. Let me taste ya." In my line of work, I don't know that I've ever said such a phrase before. Moving on, got a couple more. While at O'Hare Airport, you struck up a conversation with a stranger about their drink from Starbucks and insisted on taking a drink from their cup, which they allowed you to do before handing it back to them and leaving to catch your flight. That's just weird. And lastly, I heard something about using a black marker to do drawings on your neighbor's driveway when you're like third grade. I'm not really sure the specifics on that one, but seems like
best.
Yeah, probably need to make that. We would have to take offline and investigate a little bit more. But if these allegations are true, I'm afraid we're gonna have to put you on a performance improvement plan. And if you don't improve in the next 60 days, there may be some serious consequences.
You putting me on a pip?
So, yeah.
You're putting me on a pip.
Nice.
Someone's designed to be fucking wet.
I was thinking about we're talking about practice. We're talking about practice.
Every soundbite that exists.
Oh my God. Yeah. So Justin, I need to hear,
I think everyone needs to hear
Justin.
Justin. What are you going to do? How are you going to fix this?
Well, I'm going to say fake news to all of them. I don't believe a goddamn thing that's been said on this. This is a witch hunt. It's not, it's wrong. It's just wrong. I don't believe it. You shouldn't believe it. No one should believe this. You can't believe what you hear on podcasts. Okay. You can't believe it. Also, most of those don't sound like something I would do. They sound like something someone else would do. I'm just saying, And who hasn't licked the pole on the red line? I mean, come on. Is it just me? You haven't licked the pole on the red line to get high? You wouldn't do that? Come on. What? You wouldn't do that? I would. You wouldn't? What?
I have taken a shot from a stranger on the red line, but I have not licked any poles. No.
Oh, and then you're going to chastise me for drinking out of someone's mug in the airport? Come on. What kind of hypocrisy is this?
Can I tell you, though, that in all the years you guys have done the podcast, and I don't know when you introduced the soundboard, I only recently learned in the last couple of days that my husband contributed to the sounds that are on the fart soundboard. I didn't know that. I thought they were fake.
What I've been playing.
That's you can't prove you can't prove that's me. You can't.
Doug,
Justin.
it's labeled Doug fart.
Yeah, well, I can label whatever I want, Justin. I can label all sorts of shit on here, you know?
I don't think he meant to reveal that to me. And needless to say, I was horrified. So
that's one of my favorite buttons on the soundboard. Like, hands down.
Yeah. So, you know, proud wife here, proud moment. Sorry, Loki wants
Proud
to
dog.
participate.
I thought that was a soundbite you had. I legitimately thought, I'm like, that's a new one. I don't know what this is for. But
Loki is saying congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, she's very happy for you guys.
Look, Joe, I want to say I'm sorry if I've offended anyone with my actions, and you know, I'll do better. I'll try. I'll do better. I'll try to do better.
All right.
I'll try to do better.
I'm going to come back on the podcast in about 60 days, and we'll decide Justin's fate. See where he ends up. So we'll check in periodically, and we'll come back together in 60 days and see what the verdict is.
Punish his butt.
Hey, Jill.
All right, chill your tits.
Okay.
By the way, Jill thought that was her. She goes, did you record me saying that?
You ever said that?
Did I say that?
She goes, is that me? I'm like, no. You're not the
I was
originator
like-
of that.
Going back in my head, like, you know, going back to the tape, like, did I say that at any point?
I said it, didn't I? Yeah. No. Who's going to talk to me?
Well, I just want to say
HR professional of the podcast.
yes. And it's a goddamn shame. We've only had you on here 3 times. Episode 66, episode 114, episode 165. It's been way too long. And part of the problem is it's difficult to parent and podcast at the same time. It was difficult tonight. I was explaining to Natalie, I'm like, hey, mom's going to step away for 10 minutes to help me celebrate my 400th episode. And she got so sad. So sad. She was like, I go, it's 10 minutes, Natalie. It's not going to be a whole night. She's like, but what am I? She goes, can I watch? I was like, we're not streaming it. She goes, can I be on it? I was like, no, you don't want to be on this. Like,
I'll
you really
have you
don't.
know, right before Loki barked, Natalie walked over here and was standing next to me off camera.
Of course she
because
was.
she's done making the craft I asked her to make. And I, you know, did a subtle move under the desk going like, you know, go on.
I also heard Loki ring the bells. So I was like, she wants to go outside. So, you know, it's challenging, you know, but we
This is
will.
like a day in the life of working from home with the dog. And
It's a real genuine pleasure. Thank you for making the time to stop by. I love you. I make that abundantly clear. I've made shorts about how much I love you and how much you made me a better person. And thank you for putting up with me on this big dumb ride that Jess and I have been on for a while.
You should hear what he says off mic, though.
Yeah, you should.
Sometimes Natalie and I eavesdrop when we're getting ready for bed, and I hear you guys just, you know, shooting the shit after the podcast.
Sometimes you hear me just saying,
about.
you know, like,
Did you know that squirt is pee? And did you also know that I don't care?
you know, we get, you know, it's just, you know,
We'll get to the butt in a second.
all the time, you know.
Well, I know we're probably about out of time, but I did very quickly want to say to you guys that I can't believe it's been going on this long. Like, it feels like it's been a long time and a short. No, it feels both long and short at the same time. I think I said this to Doug the other day. The podcast is older than Natalie, and she's 7 and will be in 2nd grade next year. So, holy shit, it's a long time.
Wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys still like to have fun and be goofy dorks together. So congrats on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to just reference a few pop culture things that have happened in that time. Not as many things as I think I'd like to go through, but we don't have that much time. So a couple things since you began. Pokemon Go, like, totally took over the world. That was 2016.
Right.
Vine, the app, shut down.
That's true.
So for you youngins, that was before TikTok. We thought Vines were cool. The Cubs finally won a World Series. Doug's their biggest fan.
Nope.
So that was a big moment. Yep. Kneeling became controversial. So that was weird. Michael Phelps hung up his Speedo, becoming the most decorated Olympian. Game of Thrones ended.
Yeah, we had thoughts on that.
Yeah.
We did a full
Thoughts
episode on that and
We're
revisited
not going
that.
to go into what we thought about the ending. I'm just saying the end of an era.
True.
Also, end of the Avengers era with
True.
Endgame. This all happened during the podcast. Sonic the Hedgehog horrified the internet, as did Cats the movie.
Yes.
WAP broke the internet in a totally different way.
Hell yeah.
And people ate Tide Pods. And also 2 other words, Tiger King. Just a couple things I thought about.
Wow, talk about time capsule, huh,
My
Justin?
dad keeps continuing on.
We're out here, you know. We're out here.
We want to be the constant in everyone's life.
It's true. We will weather these storms, no matter the cost.
So congratulations for outliving all of these things. Good job.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, Jill.
No,
Thank
Michael
you.
Phelps. You heard it here.
Thank you, Jill, for stopping by. We appreciate you. I love you.
Welcome.
You're my rock. You keep me honest,
Heart.
and I appreciate
Justin?
you.
Keeping an eye on you, man.
But hey, look. Ooh.
He's pulling his cock out.
You know, it's true.
Well, on that note, enjoy, fellas.
Listen,
Oh my God.
you may be
that
thinking, hey, that's kind of lazy. She lives in your house, but we haven't seen her in a long time. So, you know,
It's true, we haven't.
I figure it was the best way to get her back on here was in a 10-minute window, which, as you can see, was actually kind of difficult between the dog and the child.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. No, I got you. I got you. That was.
yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Not copping to some of those things.
What are you talking about? That's all truth.
It's all truths.
What was funny is when I wrote that out for her, I was like, these should all be things that I've done, you know? You could be like,
first one, I was like, wait a second. Wait, I have that.
but then I was like, I'll mix it up. I'll throw some things in there that he's done, some things that I've done, and just
neither of
also
us have
things that Jill probably doesn't know that I've done, which is all the things that I put on there about me. Which one were me? Write it down in the comments. Which one was Justin? Which one was me? Some are easy, some are not. You know?
That's a great, yeah, absolutely. Write it down in the comments. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So I was going through some of like the shorts and the moments and be like, oh, where's some good moments? I'm like, I'll put that one in there, you know?
Oh my God, that was funny.
That was good.
We've talked about it for a while, like how we would never survive if we had an HR professional
No.
on the podcast.
I don't know how some podcasts like Your Mom's House do it. You know what I mean? Like they have a full staff of people and the stuff that they pull and, you know, whatever, like it's a very much a handshake agreement of like, you know what this place is.
Yeah.
You know what we do here. You know, it's cool. You know, we treat each other right, but we talk about cum. All right. Like
You're going to have a little bit of leeway here in order to sort of survive.
if you're coming here to work, you got to know. I mean, they recently, Tom's soundboard like broke down. He's using this ancient thing that didn't like work anymore. So they got him like a stream deck and they took all of the sound drops, hundreds of sound drops. They remastered them. So, and they showed like some video of behind the scenes and it was just like some of the grossest sound bites. And they're sitting there like mastering it, getting the levels just right, and then re-uploading them in there.
They made them like HD quality?
Yes.
Really?
And they also like labeled some of them. They're like, hey, you can't play these anymore because YouTube used to be cool, but now we'll either get demonetized, we'll get taken down, or we'll get canceled. So, and Tom's like, I see all these here with one with red circle with a red line through it. I want to press them. It's like, you can't. Which is very funny.
Speaking about a red circle with a line through it, we've
my.
got our next guest who is shrouded in darkness.
Shrouded in darkness. Let me get this up on the screen. All right, it's a black box. All right.
Doug, we're doing it again. My bits to you, guess in 10. So let's go.
All right. We'll start with the usual. Are you a male?
Yes.
A question, but yes.
Yes. Have we performed together?
Yeah.
I love when people disguise their voice.
Do you like Star Wars a lot?
You could say that.
Is it Sam?
Oh!
It's Sam! Who has hands down, one of my favorite sound bites.
I will haunt your butt.
That
To
is
this day.
the OG soundbite right there.
One of my favorites. When we played, I thought about this the other day while I was mowing the lawn. It was keep talking, or was it?
Keep talking and never. No, it was
keep talking and nobody dies.
Something like that. No one explodes or something like that. Yeah. And you went on this amazing tangent while we were playing, and to this day, I go back and rewatch that bit. It's so funny. You're just like, you're not giving me the right instructions, and it was so good. It was so good. Sam, how the fuck are you, man?
That was just the tutorial of that game. I hadn't even played it.
That's right. That game's
So
fucking
good.
hard.
Doug, I am great. I am great. Thank you so much.
I miss you,
I'm so happy
man.
to be here, by the way. So good to
Yeah.
see you.
I like you. I like your background. You look dope.
That shirt is amazing, by the way. You said you had a special shirt, and that shirt does not disappoint.
Yeah,
It-
man.
It
I'm
combined.
a fan.
It combined all the breweries of Michigan with Star Wars. So I was like, perfect.
I love it.
That's fantastic.
How did you catch it? Was it just his voice? That was amazing that you picked up on that.
I think it was the voice. The voice kind of did it for me. I was like the pitch, and I was like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think I was able to. I had a good one. I had a rough one, and I had a good one.
And
So
you had a good one, yes.
just like usual, guessing 10.
So I reached out to Sam because not only is he one of our best friends, and he's a great guy, and he's just fucking awesome to talk to, but he is one of the premier Mind Gap All-Stars. I didn't realize this, but he's been on 5 times.
I had no idea either.
Times. He was episode 18 in 2015. We talked about The Force Awakens and Missouri's state motto.
Jesus Christ.
Episode 68 in 2016, we talked about Rogue One. Episode 123 in 2017, we talked about The Last Jedi. Episode 160 in 2018, we talked about the effect of screen time on our lives. And then episode 228 in 2020, The Rise of Skywalker. So
you are a Star Wars aficionado. Anything Star Wars that was happening, we're like, we got to get Sam on here to talk about
gotta
this.
get Sam on. He knows. But 15, 16, 17, 18, break, 20, and then it's just been too long. And I was like, 2020, we had that run of almost one a year, and we got to bring him back on.
Yeah. It's been too long.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
well, thanks for stopping by, Sam.
all right, guys. Thanks, guys. See you in 3 years.
Yeah,
Sam,
man.
What have you, tell us what you've been up to. Tell us what's good in your life, and then I have a question for you.
Like everybody, just been doing a lot of work since the pandemic. Luckily, I'm still employed, so grateful for that.
Hell yeah.
And just got back from the Dominican. Never been to the Caribbean, and I did a couple days there with my girlfriend. It was amazing. I highly recommend it. Punta Cana, and yeah. So that's why I'm a little less than pasty.
Looking good, dude. Looking real good.
You have a slight rosé to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we like to call a slight rosé.
A slight rosé, yes. When someone who is like shockingly Caucasian gets a little burned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us about a little bit about the trip you went on, because it sounds like I've only been out of the country to a handful of places, but what you were saying earlier to me, it sounded amazing.
Yeah. So it was to celebrate. So my girlfriend got a new job.
Good. Way to go.
She gets the kids too.
The week between finishing her old job and starting the new one, took the week off. So we went to Punta Cana. We did one of those all-inclusive resorts where there's no children are allowed, which made all the difference. It was amazing. Amazing food, amazing service, beautiful locations. Did an excursion. She loved it. It was more of like a fear challenge for me because I was swimming with, granted they were nurse sharks, but still like 6-7 foot sharks and stingrays. And I'm not a strong swimmer, and I have fear of those things. So that was 2 in 1. And I got to ride a boat, and I didn't get sick. So, hey.
Dude, way to go. That's really impressive to be able to face those fears. For me, it's like calling and ordering food, to be delivered. I don't like doing that.
Like that.
I have social anxiety, and I'm like, for the longest time, when Justin and I and Drew worked at assignment desk, we would order food every Friday as part of like the deal. And Drew was always like, I'm not ordering. I don't call and order. I'm like, you're like that too? I don't want to do it either. And Justin's like, well, I'm not doing this every week, so we'll have to split it. And I was like, all right, I'll split it with you. But I didn't like doing it. So thank God for, apps. It makes it a lot easier to, just go around that.
Yeah.
Thank God for the online.
Right?
Please leave it door. Do not let me see your face.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very
So
true.
Sam, since we've had you on, Disney Plus has sprung up, and
Let's start with Disney Plus.
it's a streaming service
Okay.
for Disney Corporation. Yes,
Gotcha.
it's got many wonderful shows on it. You should check it out. But some of those shows, they went fucking hog wild, much to Doug's chagrin. They went fucking hog wild with Star Wars content. And I wanted to ask, in your opinion, because Doug won't give me a measured response. This is the one time practicality goes out the window. It's an angered response.
How dare
But
you?
what would you say is the best Star Wars series that you've seen on Disney Plus so far?
So like live action, not cartoons or anything?
Not live action, not cartoon. Yeah.
Probably The Mandalorian. I mean, like the original season 1 was just a straight up Western, and it was obviously made by two guys that love the show, love the content, love the world, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. And you could see that love shine through. It was amazing. And like the amazing guest stars like Werner Herzog and stuff, and all the other fun cameos of people in makeup. Horatio Sanz from SNL was there. I know there's a couple of other live action. I know Boba Fett. I know
Andor, Kenobi.
Kenobi. Andor was solid. Andor was up there. It was definitely the first time I saw Star Wars that was not made for children. It was good. It was really good.
That's on my list. It's definitely, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I think it's probably the next thing I'm going to get to.
If you go into it knowing it's sort of like a slow English drama, like 17th century English drama, like it's a slow show.
Wow, you're selling it. You're selling it hard. So it's Jane Eyre shit, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jane Eyre in space.
In space.
So should Doug give a shit about Star Wars? What I want you to tell is I want you to convince.
Why is this about me all of a sudden? Why is this about me?
Because Doug, this is intervention.
Should he give a shit? I don't know. Frankly, no one should. It's a stupid nonsense world that we all love, and it's a big waste of time. And you know how much money gets sucked into it?
Yeah, a lot.
Having said that, why give a shit about anything? If you're going to give a shit about something, might as well be Star Wars. That's
the best argument I've heard yet.
Yeah. So with all the shows that are coming out, what I think they're trying to do is like an MCU, but for Star Wars, and they're all interconnected. I'm crossing my fingers they learn their lessons where the MCU just wrote in silos and just tried to connect the dots later. I hope they pre-plan it. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm worried about that.
Do you have DoorDash or what was that?
My dog's done eating his food and he's got an outdoor doorbell saying, "Let me in."
Wait, so he's outside and he's asking to come in?
Yeah, that's him right there waiting to be let in.
That's amazing.
Dude, he's like, "Hey, I'm done. I'm in. Let me in, Dad."
It's hot out here.
I gave him one of those big peanut butter things. I was like, that'll be a while. It was like, what? We've been here 9 minutes at most.
That's amazing. He's like, "I want out. I want out." Well, Sam, I got to say, I miss the hell out of you, man. And we should definitely connect sometime soon. We should absolutely get you back on the podcast. It's been far too long. And I don't want to. What's your dog's name?
Hoban.
Oh, that's right. I don't want Hoban to be out there too much longer. So with this, I'll say thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for being part of these 400 episodes. We love you, and we wish you the best, buddy.
You too. Love you guys.
All right. Love you, buddy.
Bye.
See ya. Fucking, I tell you, my dog ringing the bells was cool. A dog ringing a fucking doorbell.
Doorbell to come back in. That's fucking amazing.
I've met Hoban too. He's an interesting dog. He looks like almost like, yeah, he's like a duck-billed platypus. So he looks like he's made from like a bunch of different animals.
When did you get the chance to meet Hoban?
Sam's lady he was like watching Hoban, and he asked if like he could come by with Loki and let the two of them play. I was like, yeah, and he brought Hoban by, and then my neighbor let their dog over, and Hoban just tried to hump that dog the whole time.
Fair enough.
Which was also a boy, by the way. Just, hey, listen, it's Pride Month, whatever. I love you, but that Dan, poor Dan, like Hoban was like, I'm going to hump this dog. And Dan's like, I don't understand what's happening. For like a solid 45 minutes, this dog
not consent. No,
Hoban,
stop.
and Sam's like, Hoban's got to figure this out one way or the other. And like, Dan's got to tell him no, because there's only so much we can do. Like,
right. We can. Well, that's the thing, man. Like, that's what we're going with Benny and Abby is that like Benny will get on either like playing or too rough or what. We'll pull him off, but he's a puppy. He just, if he wants the thing, he's going to go for the thing over and over and over again. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's wild.
Dog, though, you know?
Yeah, I tried telling a dog. It's like the only way you can tell a dog is by biting their face.
That's right. You got to get down there. You got to bite the dog. It's not hard to find a dick in a dog either.
That's true, right? That was one of the ones I was going to put in that HR thing. Something about you couldn't find a dick on a dog. That was a missed opportunity. That was a missed opportunity right there.
That would have been a good one.
Oh man, it's so funny because I've been thinking of Sam. Like I haven't, just in real life, he lives relatively close by me, and I was like, oh man, I should. I always have these things. So I'm like, I should reach out to them, and then I don't. As if some part of me is like, hey, I thought about them. That's pretty cool. Even though they have no idea that I've thought about them or that, I think they're cool. I'm just like, yeah, I thought about them. And then
it's like giving I scroll through and I'm just like, oh, I like this post that someone, but I won't hit the heart. I won't like it. And it's just like, yeah, I like that. Good job. Keep up that content. And I'm like, they don't know that unless you fucking, it's the same thing. Like they don't know you're thinking about them unless you fucking reach out to them.
Yeah. I'm a little more sensitive to that. Like, especially when I know people are like doing podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah. I try to get in those comments, on YouTube or whatever, and just try to leave something. Cause I'm like, I know this shit matters,
Right.
It means a lot to me when someone, hops in there and drops a like or a comment. By the way, you should do that. youtube.com/mindgappodcast. It means a lot to us as we celebrate our 400th episode. Yeah, man, it was so good to see him. He's such a good dude.
I thought I was going through and looking like at some of our guests, and I wrote down a list of like, here's the guests that I think, and then I started looking at how many each guest had been on, and Sam just was like right at the top of the list, 5 fucking episodes. I'm like, I don't know. I was trying to think who else. I think Ballmeyer might have been up there.
Yeah, he was also up there. I almost reached out to Sam. That would have been one where you and I would have crossed streams because I was like, if my other one here fell through, I was probably going to reach out to him. I was like, but I was trying to think of stuff that was, not too obvious,
Yeah. Well, see, and that's why I thought Sam wasn't obvious, and then lo and behold, that's the one that we crossed. We paths. We
would have crossed paths on that one easy.
There were so many people. I was going down this list. I went through and I made a giant list of almost everyone we've had on, and then I went through like, here's the people that we kind of really haven't spoken with in a long time, and it would be very hard to reach out to them. We've had a few that were, we'll say, upper echelon guests, and I'm like, there's no way we're getting them.
Yeah, they're not coming here.
They're not coming back to our forum. They're like, I don't remember being on your.
You're like, who are you?
Right. And then it was everyone. So I started whittling it down, and then it was really hard to make these decisions. Like it was really fucking hard because there was a few, and I'm very curious to see who this next one that you got is.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a few where I'm like, man, any one of these would be a fucking rock star guest.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm gonna send the link out now.
You had not been sending the link out?
I do it like I don't want them to come in too early, So
Gotcha.
It's just like
I
let them know.
Very clear. I said, hey, look, we're not fucking around here.
Yeah.
You click that link a minute before. Whoa!
Hi.
Ah, yes.
God.
Let me get him on the big screen here, because.
Let me tell you what. Seeing that face?
I'm showing some signs of being fucking wet. What the fuck is up? Happy 400. I see you guys are all dressed up. I actually intentionally dressed down. Normally I'm in like a flannel or a button up when I come on, but this time I figured I gotta come in like I don't give a fuck. And
well, I'll tell you what, that cat shirt says that you do give a fuck, and I respect it. Cat Solo.
Solo cat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's great.
I personally couldn't think of doing an episode 400 without having Noah Reno here, because Noah has been a staple in this podcast and this podcast community for years. Ever since I fucked up that tweet at Collider, and Noah's like, hey.
You gotta give the backstory again for those who don't know it.
So if you don't know, years ago, I think it was probably like 2018 or something like that, I was like tweeting at, I was like, just like, oh, this is a cool video that Corridor Digital did, which is a really cool, you know, production house. I was like, I tweeted because I was like, I'm trying to be active on Twitter. And I was like, man, this video by Collider is so cool. Collider is like a news, like a movie news site. And Corridor responded, they're like, Collider? And I was like, I'm an idiot. And I just was, I felt really dumb. And I was like, whatever. And I posted like a meme of like someone slumping in their chair. I was so embarrassed, and I left it up, and then like people were like, ha ha ha, and then it turned dark within 24 hours. People were like, hey, you're trying to milk the fame of this, and these guys are a bunch of bastards, and yada yada. And Justin's like, what should we do? I'm like, just fucking delete it, man. I don't want this shit. I don't want to deal with this. And then out of that, Noah was like, hey, do you guys like, here's an animation for your podcast. I was like, what the fuck? And yeah. It was awesome. I gotta ask,
like, what was your mentality behind that? When like, why were you nice when everyone else was a dick?
Well, so I just thought it was funny, and I thought it was silly. And I saw, you know, in the Mind Gap Twitter bio was like a couple Improv Chicago guys podcast live Tuesday nights or Thursday or Wednesday, whatever it was at the time. Yeah. Because you were still doing it in person.
In the basement of a bar, yes.
Yep. And at that point too, I had the unearned confidence of an 18-year-old film student, and so I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get my work pushed out there for selfish reasons." So these guys, obviously, small podcasts, they just got, you know, their whole thing, and so I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna shill for myself and see what happens.
Fucking worked.
And here we are.
Yes.
And we still use it to this day.
And I mean, and on top of that, Noah does fantastic VFX work. He does great editing. He streams. He's been a profound guest on here, particularly filling in for Justin. When Justin isn't able to attend, he's one of my go-to people to come in. He's like our video game correspondent. He's got the pulse of the gaming world where I'm always like, man, what's going on? He's like, here's the dirt, man. Overwatch 2 sucks now. And I'm like, what? What happened? You know, like he's got the pulse on all that sort of stuff.
That's my job.
And he's great. He's a wonderful person in the Mind Gap Discord and community. It's just one of those things where, you know, Noah Reno, I feel like is synonymous with Mind Gap. So absolutely. I couldn't have thought of anyone better to have as part of our 400th episode celebration than you, my friend. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight. So now it's my understanding that you've cooked up a little something for Justin and
I have gone and cooked up a little game for you. This is Mind Gap out of context. I've gone and I've pulled a handful of sound bites from episodes of yore. Oh boy. And it's up for you guys to tell me what you were talking about. What is the context of this sound bite? I will say for fairness sake, I did not go past episode 200. So we are in 200 through 400.
Okay, that's cool. That's fair.
To make it easy on you too, we'll start. I'm not going to tell you what episode it's from. Okay. That's going to be part of the game. But for the sake of this one, this came from last week's episode.
Oh, boy.
Ready?
Ready.
Yeah. Just finger blasted ourselves. It was great.
Doug, you can have that one if you want to.
I may need you to send me that after this episode.
Yeah. Oh, that hurts.
Finger blast ourselves. I think I actually was thinking about pulling that as like a clip, but I was like, I don't know if that's a good one to do.
It's pretty good
because because it was at the drive-in. I pulled that as like a potential. Yes. We were talking about the drive-in. I literally have it on my scratch pad. I was like, that's the time code to pull.
I want to get to the theater and do a double feature, the drive-in this summer, and do a double feature.
I've never actually been to a drive-in.
Oh, it's fucking great. I was there when I was younger. We were in someone's big SUV, so we opened the back hatch and then laid blankets out, and we just had food and drink, and we just sat there.
Just fingered each other.
Just finger blasted ourselves. It was great.
Dude, that's such a great pull. That's such a great pull.
Another example of where I'm trying to have a nice sentimental memory. Doug just makes it overtly sexual.
That's a real good, out of context, how my brain works. Because even as you're saying it again, my brain goes exactly there. I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to say next because it triggers everything. I was like, because you're like, we get in the back of this SUV, we lay down the blankets, and we finger blast each other. You know, like. Great pull. Great pull.
Oh, all right, what else you got?
We're gonna go a little deeper back.
All right.
Fucking nerds.
No, edit that out of the podcast.
Oh, that's Emilio and Clarissa.
Yes, it is.
Dude. Well done.
I don't know what we were talking about though.
Do you know what episode that might be from?
No clue. I know they were in the episode. It was definitely before the pandemic because we were in the basement when we had them over.
Yep.
17.
Very close. That's 222.
Okay. All right.
And here's the context.
We just saw it, but it's Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay.
I don't care about cars, but I'll go see that movie because it has Matt Damon. It has.
And then he throws a water bottle at you.
No, edit that out of the podcast.
That makes sense. That's why. And that's me antagonizing guests. That's also what I'm good at, is antagonizing people.
Staple,
Yeah,
truly.
Thing. Yeah. Love you, Emilio. Congrats on the new job. Well done.
Rolling on next.
How terrifying was it to hear those whistles go off?
I mean, not that terrifying.
Doug is asking, how terrifying was that thing? And Jared says, not that terrifying.
Jared, whistles
going off.
How terrifying was it to hear those whistles going off? Was it when they were at the beach for like
the shark attack?
Shark attack?
Yes.
Holy shit!
It was shark attack.
Oh, yes.
I don't have time to get back in the water. I would say immediately once that fin makes its way by, at that point, we're not going in the water for the next week. Like there's like we're good.
And then the clip.
Sure.
Then the clip. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that was a deep cut. Yeah, that makes sense.
From 260.
Wow.
All right.
That must have been the one where he also was like talking about how much he liked Lola Bunny.
It must have been.
Yeah, I got a clip out of that one, that's for sure.
I did specifically try not to go back to highlights or things that you might have edited in shorts and stuff like that.
Fair enough. Yeah. Even then, don't know if I'd remember him, to be honest with you. I'm 40.
Fun fact, the week after that is when we had Jamie Jirak on.
Oh, look at that. Ba-ba-bow!
All right, I got two more.
All right, here we go.
So this one is back to a little bit more recent.
You know, with his hands? I don't know. Could be.
We played him again? Do it one more time.
You know, with his hands? I don't know. Could be.
Justin, I think that was, by the way, I think that was you playing that clip. Like that had to be
100% you playing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking.
Yeah, and I just rolled with it. I was like, I don't know, could be.
Yeah. Eating with his did you say eating with his hands? Is that what that is?
Maybe?
Eating with his hands.
This is fairly recent. This is within the last 40 episodes.
So almost a year.
All the last year, yeah.
True, yeah.
I don't have any recollection of this one.
I'm blanking on this one, yeah.
Episode 368.
Yeah, it was pretty recently.
Me a Marvel character, Doug.
All right, Hulk.
Oh!
I don't know, man. I feel like it'd be more powerful than that. You
know, now I know this one.
You know, with his hands? I don't know. Could be.
We were talking about Marvel characters and what their farts would be like. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's
yeah.
So good. Oh, eyebrow conversations over on this side. Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, this, you know, when people, again, when they say, hey, what's your podcast about? I should just send them some of these out of context stuff and be like, this is what it is. If you like this, enjoy.
So many episodes looking for a fart noise, and it just like that was the first one I could find.
Fucking amazing, man. Well done.
There's so many of them, but they're in hyper specific spots of each episode. Right. So I like.
Oh my god, so good.
And then last one.
Death.
Was that us doing Ray Romano's falling off the cliff?
So I hate to be the guy that brings myself into this game, but this is an episode I was on.
I was like, I thought it sounded like some of your voice.
We'll take it again.
It was me yes-anding you, that's for sure. I have no idea.
Yeah.
This is episode 290. Some would say this is the best episode of the podcast that I was on. I would say that anyway. This is from Justice League.
I thought the intro was a lot like the rest of the movie, where it was too long. It was just, I got kind of sick of hearing Superman's death.
Yeah, no recollection of that specific moment.
I actually do have a recollection of that moment.
Because I don't remember that movie at all. Like,
I don't either.
But now that you mention, I'm like, oh, that's right. He does kind of
just like he's in the pool and he's screaming.
Yeah.
The sound reverberations.
Yeah.
You talked about specifically how the CGI shots that drove you fucking up a wall in that.
It was him or maybe it was Jesse Eisenberg standing in like a pool of water, but the water was not. It was a fake pool of water.
Right.
So you see just like his legs fade away.
Because you mentioned that there were some good VFX moments, but then there was also just like equally bad ones too. Like,
and I couldn't tell you if those good CGI moments were from the original finished movie and not the unfinished movie that they released on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a shitter.
Dude, thank you for the time that you put into that bit. That was stupendous.
It was at least 4 hours of my life, and not including the time that we spent recording the podcast. So,
oh man,
that was amazing.
Yeah, and Noah, please tell everyone where they can find you and what you got going on, your website, all that shit, man. Let people know about Noah Reno.
Well, I am at Noah Reno on everything. That's @symbol ATNOHRENO. For all my social media goodies, Twitter and Instagram @JJPogchamp69 on Twitter if you're curious about the gaming side of things. And then I just launched interabangmedia.co is the small business I've just started up. Interabang Media it's just a website where you can hire me to make things for you.
I would recommend hiring him. Drew and I have used. Oh, too many people have entered the chat.
What the fuck? He's a fucking gremlin. He's a goblin.
I literally said 4-minute warning, and he popped in.
What the fuck?
He just goes, I clicked too many times.
Who the hell was that? That was some monster showed up on the podcast doorstep.
Someone hacked our stream. I would say hire Noah because Drew and I have used him for our films and 10 out of 10.
And do I love being used?
I say just Noah helped out for a while with editing some clips and stuff like that, and he did our intro graphics, and he's done so much more. Please check him out, utilize him, use him, don't abuse him, but choose him accordingly.
A little bit of abuse,
a little bit. But Noah, we love you. Thank you for being part of our 4th episode and part of our community and everything else. We appreciate you. We love you. And thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you, guys. I love the show so much, and I will leave you with...
Just finger blasted ourselves. Oh, perfect drop-off. I love it.
Fucking perfect.
That man
is a goddamn saint.
My cheeks hurt right now from laughing so hard. That's really...
He told me, he goes, I go, hey, do you have any ideas for something? And he goes, yeah, I could do this thing. I go, you sure? I go, I don't have the time to do that. He's like, I'll do it. I'm like, all right. Hey, look who's here.
Slotty has entered the
chat. Look who's here. I'm underdressed.
You are not underdressed. You arrived exactly how you intend.
You have too many.
I am a wizard.
You are a wizard.
You're a wizard.
You're a wizard, Slotty.
I've also been asking ChatGPT to who would win this fight.
Oh shit!
Oh, fantastic. I think I tried that not too long ago, and it was like I can't weigh in on. It was being a real bitch the last time I tried to do it.
Oh, I just said pretend that you're a fanboy, and I'm like inhabit the persona of a fanboy and tell me what you would how you would weigh in on this.
See, that's brilliant because it kept giving me the, I can't weigh in on fictional characters, this and this, and we gave.
It's basically like, hey, listen, I'm not going to tell you how these two fuck. Okay, we're not going there. Don't even try.
All right, stop being you for a second,
right?
And pretend hypothetically, that you're this other thing that would do that.
Well, before we get too far into this, I want to welcome back. Again, just like our past guest, Noah, we could not do an episode 400 without the mighty Seth Trammell, a.k.a. Slotty, being in here with us to celebrate, because Seth has been a staple with us for, I've lost track of how much time it's been. It seems like it's been a week, but it's been so much longer at this point. It's like both long and short at the same time, just like my dick. And it's one of those things where Seth came to us, he helped us with some SEO, and all of a sudden I was like, I think Seth and I are going to be best friends. Like, he and I have the same gaming habits, we like the same kind of games, and Seth has also, like Noah, been our go-to for if we need someone to fill in. If Justin's out, he's there. He's a staple in the community. He's almost always there with the games on our gaming streams. He is a pillar, one of the pillars of the community. Seth, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for being part of the show.
Doug, thank you for allowing me to hijack this moment in multiple ways and just steer it in all the wrong directions, as you've let me do to this community throughout the years.
Yes.
And I couldn't be happier to have been a part of as much of it as I have, and to get to know the two of you the way that I have. So it's my absolute pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Thank you. That means the world. We absolutely adore you, and this community would not be what it is without you. And there's no debating that without a doubt. Also, I had my I was told Doug prior felt the need to celebrate, so I had a non-alcoholic beer because I'm a professional. It's middle of the week, but I drank it in this glass, which I still hold near and dear to my heart. This Pawnee Rain.
That right there, that warms mine.
This is my favorite mug I own right here.
Getting someone a gift that ends up being one of the things that they use is one of the greatest feelings.
Yes.
So I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. So now that we've all shared in the Love Fest, I think it's time for Murder, Death, Kill time.
Yes.
This is a segment that we've been doing since our very first episode. This was the only segment we did for many years. It evolved. It got better. We got a theme song. The theme song got better. And then it got really tedious to try to keep it up. So now it makes a guest appearance every once in a while, and it's fun when it does. So without further ado.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
Oh, I haven't heard that in a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Just like everything when you get older, it's harder to keep up.
Yeah. Amen. More dick jokes. More dick jokes. Let's go.
More dick jokes.
Yes.
More dick jokes. All right. So we thought it'd be fun for this throwdown to rewind it again, 400 episodes, and go back to the original episode 1 throwdown that it started. I went back and listened to this. It started because, and now I'm forgetting exactly how we got into it. We had talked about how Superman and Thor were like, well, I think you said like, well, they both wear red capes, so they're like essentially the same person. Like, it was somehow we were just talking, and I was like, okay, we're gonna end this with a debate. At the time, we were calling it a debate, and I said, who would win in a battle between these two? So this was the original 400 episodes ago. Originally, how we opened this segment up.
We gonna get you.
Nope, that's not it. Hold on, that's the intro. Here we go. So here's the first.
Somebody whispering in my ear, "We gonna get you."
We gonna get you.
They're labeled similar. That's on me. So here's the actual intro. We're gonna end it with a debate here. Superman versus Thor.
I was afraid this would come up. It's hard because Superman is. Where are they fighting?
And of course, it ends. That question ends with, "Well, where are they fighting?"
Always.
And I also want to point out just the difference in our voices. How we're gonna end it with a debate here. Superman versus Thor.
I was afraid this would come up. It's hard because Superman is. Where are they fighting?
That's 8 years. 8 years of not constantly talking. So now, like, our voices are a little lower, a little gravelier.
Yeah, we didn't have. I don't know. We weren't. I guess maybe we were afraid to have fierce opinions. You know, or I don't know.
It was like, did you have that fancy microphone?
No,
we didn't have. We had other things. Yeah, we might have been talking to the same microphone that first one.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah,
who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we could have been kissing. You know.
So this one is going to be Thor versus Superman. We're going back to the original. Now, I have pulled certain clips and arguments that we made from the original Throwdown, and I want to see.
Ooh.
First off, I want to see.
Let's destroy them.
Exactly. Let's just decimate our original.
Like everything that's 8 years old, we just need to destroy it.
Well, here's the thing. It's amazing how consistent Doug stays in some of his thoughts.
You know what? I gotta say, when you're right, you're right. You know, that's all I gotta say.
Consistency is practical.
So right? I'm gonna kick it off with the first one. So we said, where are they fighting? The first one said, okay, they're fighting on Earth, and this was part of our debate.
They're fighting on Earth. I give the edge to Superman just because A, he can breathe in space.
So can Thor.
Can he though? Well, I'm sure based on comic book lore he can, but Thor doesn't
travel space.
He does, but he doesn't
traverses space
through the Rainbow Road.
You see the disdainative through the Rainbow Road.
Well, we also
sorry, Doug talking.
Yeah, I was like, well, also in Infinity War hadn't come out yet, where we see him literally floating in space and existing in space. So
now with that information, let's revisit this debate. And does that still? I feel like that we can kind of take that away. Yeah, this does space have an effect on them?
No, because that was always the thing. Is like, well, Superman can just grab him and throw him in space, you know, and then that's it, you know.
Yeah,
because I was always like, what about, you know, Hulk versus Superman? It's just like, throw him in space. Bye, Hulk. You know, adios, buddy. I obviously I think Superman, because he's powered by the sun and the sun's radiation. That's obviously huge for him. You know, that gives him his energy. That's a key piece, but also a key weakness if that is somehow eliminated, or there's a way to make it so that he can't access the sun. Seth, you look like you had a thought.
I have a couple of thoughts. So I have one that's I'm just gonna start with one that's gonna piggyback off of that one. So do you think that Thor could destroy the sun?
Could he destroy the sun? Ooh, I don't know. Can he?
If he could, then would he?
To kill Superman?
To clinch this battle.
It's got to be for a real fucking good reason to be like, we're going to nuke this sun, because Midgard's under his protection. You know what I mean? So
I think original Thor, who's
does
just
it need the sun?
Crazy?
I'm sorry, did you just ask if the Earth needs the sun?
No, not the Earth. Does Midgard?
Midgard is Earth.
Does Asgard need the sun?
Asgard. That's what I should say.
Well, Asgard's in a different area than that. I mean, the sun, you know, revolves around Earth. I mean, he would be. You're asking if he's willing to sacrifice this plane of existence
for a dub.
For a dub, well, I don't think so.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Is it what universe's Earth is it? Does he give a shit about other universes' Earths?
I mean, I feel like, you know, he's a heroic guy. I don't think he'd be willing to. I mean, he wouldn't even sacrifice Jotunheim, you know. Because that wasn't right.
OG Thor was just battle hungry. He was bloodlusty, wasn't he?
Yeah, but even by the end of that movie, he's like, we can't kill Jotunheim. You know, even though they're our enemies, he's like, that's genocide. You know.
Okay, so he's he's anti-genocide.
Yes.
You making it sound like a bad thing. All right, so he's anti-genocide. It's woke liberal. Is anti-genocide. Right? You know.
The woke mind virus has gotten him too, I guess.
Jesus Christ. Well, don't come to Florida, because this is where woke comes to die, Thor.
What is that, a book about astronomy? Fuck
is that a book, period?
Period. Hard stop.
They're like, I deal in, he's like, you know, what you call magic, I call science. They're like, liberal, relying on science, you know.
So Seth, I'm assuming you're asking this because has he done that in the comics? Are you pulling from something?
Well, stuff that I've read about that he's done in the comics, he's like moved a machine that can like move 9 dimensions at once. And so it's like, oh, if he can move 9 dimensions at once, maybe he could destroy a sun. Like the comic book powers for these two both get wacky.
Yeah, they're wackadoodle, you know?
Yeah.
My ace in the hole back in the day was Mjolnir. And so this is our thoughts on that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that Thor would just get his ass kicked.
Right.
But I honestly, most of the time I have to give the edge to Superman because his only real weakness is kryptonite. I fucking hate Superman.
But here's the other thing. Thor's got the hammer. I'm going to pause that right there. I love, and that's not the last time you're going to hear Doug say that in these clips. Some of that not even Superman could use.
That's true. So
I'm just saying, you pin him down, you're done.
I guess. I mean, good luck pinning him down.
Oh, come on. You mean to tell me if Thor threw that hammer and Superman's like, well, I got this. Uh-oh. And he grabbed it and he fucking
That's
fell
kind
to
of
the
a weird
ground?
situation for, I imagine, like, so you have a very specific scenario in your mind where he throws it. Somehow Superman tries to catch it. He trips over backwards. And then the hammer lands on him.
He doesn't see. Yeah. So again, we're presuming in that instance that Superman's not worthy. Cap obviously eventually became worthy.
Yeah, and so like if Cap's worthy, would Superman be worthy? The answer is almost certainly yes, right?
What? You can't assume that.
No?
You can't assume that Superman's worthy to wield Mjolnir. What, just because he's good?
Most of the time. I mean, we also saw in that one movie, I can't remember, it's Superman versus Batman, where he like wakes up after space death sleep and he's all angry.
Yeah.
Maybe, that makes him unworthy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
he got angry once.
He's got sleep rage.
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what makes you. I mean, the people we know are worthy are Cap and Vision. Those two were worthy to take it. So I don't know. I don't know what the
criteria are.
Criteria.
Apparently, it's not that selective because there's like 3 people within a really like narrow frame of.
I'm sorry, just 3 people in the existence of the universes. That
he's tried it on.
We've only seen about 24 people try to lift this thing down.
Yeah, man. That clearance rate's pretty high, all things considered.
Yeah, for something that's supposed to be like a very highly powerful weapon that's very selective. That's.
I would say if
from Poughkeepsie try to lift this thing.
We saw all the guys in the first Thor out in fucking New Mexico. They didn't lift it, They tied a truck to it and everything.
Yeah. Like, we're gonna let New Mexico be the bellwether here.
Right. Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Evens out there.
If fucking Superman can wield Mjolnir, it's over. There's absolutely no way. Like, that's game over, man. Like, because I would say that's one of the sun and his weapons about the only thing Thor has to fight against Superman. If Superman can, take that away from him, it's over.
So on this hypothetical Earth, does kryptonite exist?
I'd have to assume so.
Yes, absolutely. If Superman exists, kryptonite exists. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because like Marvel Comics universe, like kryptonite isn't a thing, doesn't exist. So if it's I would assume playing field.
Yeah, I would assume that would exist, but you have to assume: does Thor know that kryptonite is something that Superman's weak against? And 2, does he have access to it? So, because then you're assuming this is like a Batman scenario where he's going to be prepared. Thor isn't always like the most prepared guy. You know what I mean?
Right. No, he does have thousands of years of battle experience.
He does, but he's not necessarily like but he likes to punch and he likes to smash. He's not necessarily like, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bury some kryptonite over here. All right. I'm going to throw a Mjolnir at him. If he catches it and he's worthy, that sucks. But then I will dig up the kryptonite and I'll stab him in the nipples with it. And then that ought to weaken him enough so that I could throw him on the ground and I could teabag him before I crush his face. Oh, wait, I can't. Oh, wait, I can. Yes. Okay, cool. That works out.
Let's bring the twig back into it for a second, the branch, right? He buries the kryptonite behind that, and it's sticking up. And he's like, I'm going to throw it at Superman. He's going to catch this thing. It's going to trip backwards, and then he's going to fall onto the kryptonite.
Even better, Thor doesn't even plant it there. It just is naturally occurring kryptonite.
I hate this more now.
Geological abnormality.
Exactly. Thor punches him so hard, he goes through several layers of the earth into an underground cave that just happens to be filled with kryptonite. Does Thor win?
Yeah.
Does Thor win that battle?
I think so. Yeah.
Does he win that battle?
I mean, here's the thing, though, that I keep coming back to. We keep having to invent scenarios in which Thor could win.
Yes.
Because I feel like the assumed outcome is unless we invent something, Soups wins because DC made people ridiculously strong and
everybody's OP. Yeah.
Yeah. A glaring lack of weaknesses, which is also why we tend not to like them in their cinematic appearances because they lack humanity.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this is the part where Jared's somewhere in Australia pulling the hair he doesn't have out of his head.
Out of his chin.
Because he thinks that Superman, Superman Returns shows the ultimate humanity that's ever been shown in all of cinema.
I'm going to politely disagree with that.
Let me take something that Seth you hinted at, and we definitely dove into this just a little bit previously. Okay, let's change it now. They're not on Earth. They are on. What do you think?
You said Tatooine, didn't you?
I would say Krypton.
Well, no, Krypton. That's a given. I mean, that's going to be.
He loses.
Yeah, he loses.
Thor wins.
Thor wins easy. But, I mean, Asgard would be the next most logical place, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull that back because that was just such a. Doug says he loses with such delight in his voice. He loses.
Hey, Krypton.
Well, no, Krypton. That's a given. I mean, that's going to be.
He loses.
Yeah, he loses.
Yeah, he loses.
Or wins easy. But I mean, Asgard would be the next most logical place, right?
Yeah. Does he have the same sun in Asgard?
Right.
Is it a different sun? Is it a different star? These are questions.
I give home court advantage to Thor. Personally.
I guess. Again, I don't know. I just hate Superman.
If it's not clear yet, Doug hates Superman.
Not a fan. I'm not a fan.
I'm not either, for the same reasons. Like, that's part of why Doug and I get along. We think similarly.
Right.
It's like, where's the allure in this guy?
I agree. I'm in your guys' camp. Absolutely. I do think that Superman, in hindsight, I do think Superman would probably take Thor to task. But, it sucks because if Superman wasn't OP, then, Thor would have a chance.
Yeah, I agree with Seth in that we have to invent things.
Right.
Exactly. To allow Thor the possibility of winning. There's like a lot of like, well, what about this and what about that and what kind of sun is on Asgard, sort of shit, to kind of figure out how that works. But in general, yeah, I don't know. I think I lean towards Soups on this. So,
well, there's one more scenario that we did throw out there. We said, Earth. We said Asgard. We did in the past throw out one more scenario. If you think Doug hates Superman, and now here's the other thing. The last location. We'll change it one more time. Tatooine.
Oh, fuck you.
Superman all the way. You got 3 sons.
Of course. Why not? Let's bring something else to Tatooine. Hey, guys, guess what? Not only is Luke Skywalker from there, but also Anakin Skywalker's from there. Obi-Wan hangs out there.
Hold on.
Jabba the Hutt hangs out there.
This is a different conversation,
Guess
Doug.
what? Who else is there? We'll add Thor. We'll add Superman. Fuck Tatooine. Tatooine is not the center of that goddamn universe. Have something happen somewhere else.
I stand by that to this day.
Oh, as well you should.
It's funny because I said a couple minutes ago, I was like, "There's I remember you brought up Tatooine. I was like, you triggered me so bad on that. I was like, you motherfucker.
All right, so now we move it to the forest moon of Endor.
So, are we saying, regrettably, Seth? You actually popped this into ChatGPT. Is there any insight that program had?
As many permutations that I asked this question to ChatGPT about who would win the battle. ChatGPT, while being the ultimate bet hedger, always shaded towards Superman, with the sole exception being when I asked it to inhabit the persona of an MCU fanboy, at which case it came out saying, but that right there, I tilted the scales. Again, just like we have to do in order to make Thor win, I had to tilt the scales of the AI for it to even agree that Thor had a chance here.
Yeah. All right. I feel like that's pretty, as much as we don't want to admit it, I feel like we do have to deem the winner. Are we all in agreement?
Yes, Superman.
Rules as written, Superman wins.
Superman!
Out of curiosity, is that where we ended up on the first episode?
Actually, we never closed the loop.
Hey, listen, we were still learning. All right.
Yeah. I think what we did is we said at one point, I didn't pull this clip, but at one point, I think we were like, we're going to have to write this down and come back to this because we've got throughout the episode, we said a few times, we should write all these things down because we're going to need to come back to all these ideas.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And sure enough, here we are 8 years later.
8 years later.
Revisiting it.
The notes that you wrote down are out and in front of you.
Here we go.
Ready
to finish the argument's now finished.
It took us 8 years, but we got to the bottom of this one, this debate.
I thought as we go into our outro and we close this episode out, I thought it'd be fun as we listened to our original intro. I thought it'd be fun to listen to how we closed the show out originally as well.
Let's do it.
And so I just took a little clip at the end here, It's amazing. Some things that have lasted 8 years that we've said 400 times. There's some things in here that you're like, wow, that's what I was doing at that point in my life. So here you go.
Can we find you on Twitter anywhere, Justin?
Yes, Twitter and Instagram, Justin at Justin_Michael, and it's spelled Mikel. It's spelled the fun way.
You Swedish bastard. At some point, we'll have a Twitter and probably an email set up. So if you guys want to reach out to us,
at some point,
it probably won't be me because I don't understand Twitter. I don't know how it works.
If we do Twitter, it's going to be me or it's going to be an intern we hire.
Exactly.
And he's not going to know. He's going to, why am I working here?
And be like, hey, you're getting college credit.
We're in your apartment.
That's right.
Yeah, deal with it.
That's right, guys.
What about you, Doug? You want to plug anything?
I've got some improv shows coming up, so there's that. And I have a sketch show coming out in August and September. So more details to be had upon further notice pursuant to ergo vis-a-vis. I love you guys.
Classic.
And then my next line was, I check out on the legalese, and then the Mind Gap outro played.
Nice. It was awesome.
There you go.
Man, to think I was still doing improv shows and sketch shows. Right? That's wild, man. That was a while ago.
I thought you did such a really complete pitch for them, too. Like, they exist.
Right?
Yeah.
I
didn't want people to come to them because they were probably student shows. Yeah. They probably were going to be really bad, you know? So I was like, they're out there. I just should have said nothing. What I should have said was nothing. Yeah. But nope, I couldn't commit to it.
I got nothing.
I got nothing. Well, Seth, I want to thank you for taking the time to not only be a part of our lives and part of this community, but for stopping in tonight to help us get to the bottom of this very important debate, this very important throwdown. We appreciate you, and thank you for everything you've done for Mind Gap and the community, my friend.
Nothing could have made me happy than to be here for this.
Fantastic. Well, we'll sign off from you for now, my friend, and I'm sure we'll see you again very soon.
You won't have a choice in the matter.
Goddamn right. All right, pal. We will see you later.
Unbelievable.
Wow, this couldn't have gone any better, man. I am smiling from ear to ear right now.
Yeah,
can't see it, but I'm soaked in sweat under this. Yeah.
I turned the air on hardcore up here before we start. I'm like, this is going to be a thing, and I'm going to need to do it. Yeah. My face hurts. It's just I'm smiling for the last hour and a half like an idiot.
So good, man. That was so good. That was so much fun. And to everyone who's listened to us, who's watched us, who's reached out to us, thank you. You know, we've hit some milestones throughout this little adventure of ours. And if you would have told me 8 years ago, it's like, you're going to get at least 400 of these, I'd be like, what? Yeah, it's going to last you 8 years. I'd be like, what? I would not have believed you. And this has been such a fun part of my life where every week I get to hang out with you, Justin, and we get just to talk, shop, shoot the shit, do dumb stuff, and to see, you know, we always say our community is small, but it's mighty, and I mean that. Yeah. I appreciate everyone in our community and everyone that supports us, whether it's just hitting the like button, whether it's just tuning in every week, whether it's people that contribute to us on Patreon or buy our merch. Thank you for being a part of us, being part of all of this, and on this stupid little journey we've been on.
Yeah, and if you are just joining us 400 episodes in, go ahead and listen to the rest. We'll wait. We're here. But also join our Discord. You can see the community. You can interact with some of the people that you've heard today, and join and become intricate part of the Mind Gap community yourself, right?
Yes.
Create your own pillar, if you will.
Yes. We'd love to have you. And follow us on our social medias at Mind Gap Podcast, youtube.com/Mind Gap Podcast for all of our video content. You can listen to us wherever you catch your podcasts. Emails, mindgappodcast@gmail.com. All that good stuff, as always. Be sure to check us out, and be sure to check out Justin as well.
That's right. On Instagram, at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's 400 episodes later. It's still the fun way of spelling it. While you're in the online realm, check us out on all the platforms where you can find and consume quality podcasts. You can find and consume us. And while you're there, rate, review, share, subscribe, all those things that we ask every week. And sharing is the big one. Also, 2east8th.com, 2east8th on all social media, and loveanimprovfilm.com and loveanimprovfilm on Instagram.
Well, with that being said, thank you all for a wonderful episode 400. And more importantly, I want to say, Justin, thank you.
Doug, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Likewise, pal. I'd say chat, thank you, but we didn't stream this one because this one was tough. But for all the people that join us on our streams, chat, thank you.
And listeners, for the last 400 fucking episodes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And as always, have a dandy fucking week.